For a lot of the day, I was trying to figure out how to do a specific meme that's been going crazy all over social media with a certain fitness influencer. Not gonna lie, we have got all the scenes done. I just need to put it together and then just drop that thing because I think it's pretty funny. Honestly, the dunking head in water and all that nonsense. That's a bit crazy, right? That wouldn't be what I would do, honestly. But you'll see that when that comes out. But anyway, what I do want to talk about though, and try to figure out what to upload, is I guess a bit of Kingdom Hearts. And for two reasons. One, because there is going to be the anniversary that's coming up on the 28th, and I wanted to talk about something Kingdom Hearts related. And two, because that, I kind of also want to do a clapback episode on the waifus of Kingdom Hearts at some point in time, which probably will be on the 28th. So if I can remember that, and if things go well, that probably will be the video that you'll get. But when it comes down to it though, in terms of just in normalcy though, when it comes to something safe to do, I kind of want to just yap a little bit about Kingdom Hearts as a story, right? Because I'm not necessarily going to sit here and lie. I've said it before, but Kingdom Hearts to me is like the last bastion of an ongoing story that I genuinely give a shit about, right? And yes, I obviously know you got things like Genshin and stuff like that, and I love it, but at the very same time, it is something I kind of put on the side, or I kind of separate with other games because it's like it's a gacha game, it's an online game, and stuff like that. So I can't put it in that same category. I feel like I couldn't, even though I very much like Genshin. But at the very same time, does it withstand something like Kingdom Hearts? And absolutely not. And that's why I'm kind of like, no other game can really stand the same level of what Kingdom Hearts can do. Because it's wacky, because it's crazy, and because mostly it's unpredictable into where it's going to go. That's one of the biggest things I like about it, right? Because Genshin, a lot of the time, and this is the reason why I kind of don't like theory crafting about Genshin, is because sometimes you get your predictions right. Because they're based off of certain aspects in real life and certain, like novels and forms of literature or religious things and stuff like that, and it already has a story and you kind of can tell where it could go when it comes to Genshin in particular. That's why I don't watch certain theory crafting videos like Ashikai. Like, she's great, but at the same time, boy oh boy was the whole Fontaine storyline kind of ruined for me, because I figured out, or at least she figured out, that what's pretty much going to happen. I was just like, oh well, I really didn't care at the end of the Fontaine storyline. That was kind of sad, but it is what it is, right? So that's why I kind of don't necessarily look into it too much anymore in Theorycraft. And if I do think of something, then it'll be something like the Paimon video that we did. But in terms of, Kingdom Hearts, you can't tell what the hell is going to happen. Like, I don't think anybody expected a boy from a whole ass island getting taken to different worlds, ultimately right now ended up in just death, or like in other world type of place where people are just dead, and that's just kind of where Sora is right now. Like, I don't think anybody was going to predict all the way from that point forward, and that it just feels kind of crazy. Hell, I don't even think Nomura understood that was going to be the case of what happened. He had an idea that it might end up there, but it's like, I don't think you fully understood exactly yourself how that was going to go all the way there when it comes down to it, though, right? And again, that's the beauty of Kingdom Hearts. It's just, again, an unpredictable, crazy ride with Disney involved in all of its glory. For me personally, Kingdom Hearts is the one game where it's like you can enjoy the story, you can enjoy the gameplay, and it doesn't feel bad, right? Granted, you will get certain games that will just feel, a bit more floatier than others, but still, it doesn't necessarily feel like a terrible time to go through a whole Kingdom Hearts game, At least for me, because, again, there is just something about it that hits harder than any other game that exists out there, and it's the reason why it's like my number one favorite game series ever. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. Like, and I kind of hate too how disrespected it gets too, and not even just in terms of just like fans, but just by the company itself with Square as a whole. Because sometimes it's like, damn, we get all this Final Fantasy Part 3, news and developer talks and all that stuff, but we can't get damn thing on Missing Link or Kingdom Hearts 4. That's a bit wild to me because I'm just ready to learn what the hell's going to happen next. I'm ready to see what the hell goes on and all that type of stuff, right? Any drop of information that we get out of this game, I'm here for it. And that's just kind of how it is, right? I know a lot of people, and hell, this is a problem that I see a lot of people in Genshin don't necessarily like, that lore bits get dropped all over the damn place, and you have to go basically scavenger hunting to understand everything that's going on in Genshin. And a lot of people don't like that. Meanwhile, as a Kingdom Hearts fan and someone that's been following this, whole game really ever since I was a kid, I know you have to go to many different places to understand the lore of why X thing happened or what is this other thing, and things that is not explained in the games completely in the way it should be, but still, like, that stuff is like gonna happen, right? And it's all over the damn place. So scavenger hunting is nothing new for us when it comes down to Kingdom Hearts. We just kind of know that, yeah, you gotta kind of look at these events, look at, some of the stuff that happens at these concerts, or maybe something that happens at these game events or whatever, because they could definitely have story implications. Hell, and if we're gonna be honest, something like Smash Brothers very much could be a plot point, considering Sora is in the perfect position for him to be there story-wise. So, you could have that too, and that could be definitely a reference. Hell, I think Nomura's only reason why Sora took so long to get into Smash is because of story reasons. So I think they're gonna make that a canon thing, that, oh yeah, Sora was in Smash, by the way, you probably can't say it by name, but he was also somewhere else facing off with many different competitors from many different worlds all at once. And I can very much see him doing that because that's what Sora does. And that's, again, another added aspect of Cage where I just gotta sit here and love it, right? And it makes me super happy to just see that Cage is just this monstrous machine of just story and care given to that product, and just really something special, which honestly is something I hope continues to keep going forward past Kingdom Hearts 4 until we get to the end of Kingdom Hearts, whenever that happens, you know? And it also gives me kind of some type of worry too, because as we have seen with a lot of games that come out in recent memory, a lot of these games that come out, they usually have, people changing up what the franchise is, trying to make some type of, you know, speech about whatever they want to play in there, and agendas and things sort of like that. And I really just hope Kingdom Hearts don't fall into that, because I know people will probably want to do something with that. I know they want to try to, but I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Kingdom Hearts. And this is why I'm like, this is my last bastion of an ongoing single player game, because if Kingdom Hearts gets effed up in any sort of way for me personally, that's it. There is nothing else I genuinely would sit here and care about outside of like Genshin, obviously. But in terms of like a regular ongoing story of a game, there will be nothing to really sit there and care about, honestly, and that just is what it is for me, because the only reason why the only game really that keeps me going into wanting to see all what's going to happen next, and just look towards every single award show or every single game event or showcase or whatever, is KH, because that's literally it. There is no other ongoing story that I give a shit about that hard besides KH. It's not even just the fact that it's just like, oh, it's a good story. It's also got me emotionally invested too, because just there's so much about this game that doesn't make any sense of why it's so damn good, and yet it is. And to be absolutely honest, once again, if it wasn't for Kingdom Hearts, I don't really think I would care for story-driven material ever, really. Like, sure, there's a lot of good ideas that's out there, but when it comes to story-driven, games and media, I think Kingdom Hearts is the first time where it's like, oh wow, I gotta see what happens next, and all that type of stuff, and it's been going on for years. And I still feel the exact same way, where it's like, I need to see what happens, and I'm very much someone that's like, oh, story first, or, wanting to mainly see what's going on in the narrative first of anything. At least for certain stuff. I won't say for everything, but for certain stuff, I do want to see what where the narrative can go in terms of any game or any anime that I decide to just pick up and watch or pick up and play and things and sort like that, because Kingdom Hearts got me like that. And I know people will also say that Kingdom Hearts is very convoluted and all this junk and blah blah blah. I know that, and I understand, and I realize I understand that it can be a bit much if you're just trying to get into it, but at the very same time, I kind of like it that it's not something simple. It's not just oh, it's actually this thing, but it's actually like five other things added to that extra step. And it's really getting you invested, right? If you play the game, and plus, if you play the games all really just straight up all the way through automatically, you would understand what the hell is happening, at least for the majority of it, right? You'll get what you need to get. Maybe not the fullest of details, because there's still some details that slits me from time to time, and I don't necessarily understand every little thing. But if you watch all the cutscenes, you play everything, and you are informed about everything that goes on with the franchise, then you're pretty much gonna know what the hell is exactly is up. You might have a hard time explaining it to somebody, but still, you would pretty much know what the hell you need to know, and you'll be fine, right? Basically, you'll be fine if you pay attention, right? And really, when it comes down to everything, I'm just glad that it exists. You know, again, it definitely has shaped my childhood. It has shaped a lot of people's childhood, especially, people that gone through something in their whole childhoods and stuff. Like, I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. Kingdom Hearts is like that comfort game for a lot of people who have like really shitty childhoods. So it's helped me a lot, and it helps me be positive in a way too, because it's just like, yeah, things suck ass, but Sora was at least there. He was at least the one damn beacon of everything that was helping me get through hard times. So it was nice. And then at the very same time too, just again seeing how much stuff he goes through, it just tries to continue to be positive and whatever. It's just like, oh hell yeah, right? And then again, it makes a lot of sense as to why, with all of this stuff added to what we have now, it's like, yeah, it makes sense why people are pissed off that we haven't heard shit about KH4 in a good chunk of time. It's almost been like 3 years since the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer dropped. So we would like to see what's going on. I would like to even know the percentage of like where KH4 is along the lines of. Is it 60%? Is it 70? Like how far along in the game cycle of development do we got until this dang game drops? Honestly, like, I know Missing Link comes out first, I understand that, but I'm really mainly here for KH4, right? I know it was announced early, but I'm really here for KH4. So when can we expect that shit? That's what I'm looking for. And also, added side note, I guess, and just to kind of throw this out there, yes, I am very much aware Kingdom Hearts is not a perfect story. I know the time travel stuff is kind of unnecessary, at least in my personal opinion. I don't think it's something that really should have been chucked in there. But at the very same time, is that overall ruining the experience of just getting into the game, playing it, and really enjoying yourself? No, not at all for me, because again, it's so much other stuff that's good to it. Because let's say, oh, you really don't care for, certain aspects of the story. That's fine. You still got good ass gameplay, right? There's plenty of stuff to enjoy about that shit. And honestly, I feel like it's one of the best feeling games you could play, right? Especially games that let you do whatever the hell you want. I like games that just very much be open world, or either be something like what Kingdom Hearts is doing, where you can just maybe start out a bit weak, don't have a lot of stuff going on with you, but then as you grow through the game, you level up and have experience, you end up getting cool ass shit, right? You're getting cool ass weaponry, cool ass stuff just to go along with your whole ass journey, and it just seems dope as shit, right? And it also helps that the level design of original worlds in Kingdom Hearts slap hard as balls, because still to this damn day, the world that never was is still the best damn world, I would say, of all the worlds I think exists originally. Like, I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. It is still the best one, and I wish so wholeheartedly that we'll see the world that never was come back in full HD 3D graphics in all its glory in the best possible way, because I want to see that so bad. I'm not gonna lie, that's like the one thing I do want to see get put in HD high definition, head ass 4K native like port and all that type of nonsense. I want to see all that stuff when it comes down to the world never was, because that world was just slapper. It was just a slapper world. And then there's also the good ass characters that's along with the pack of things too. We'll talk about the female characters like again on a later date, but still you get people like Roxas as well, who arguably is like the most popular character in a lot of people's eyes because his story was so damn tragic and also like the most understandable one of why he wanted to crash out too, you know? And even I'll even go as far as say Shion, but again, we'll say that for when that time comes, though, when it comes to that video. But still, nonetheless, again, just overall, there is very few games that make me feel something and make me get emotional about shit. And Kingdom Hearts is by far the top one, right? And there's nothing replacing it, especially Kingdom Hearts 2 in particular, right? And even when it comes down to Kingdom Hearts 3, and as I like Kingdom Hearts 3, it was a very good game, I don't go back and replay it like I do KH2, because at least like once a month, or at least sometime each year, I'll go back and play through Kingdom Hearts 2, because it's still that good and it holds up that damn well, right? Yes, the rooms are small, and the whole worlds are kind of small-ish compared to KH1. I understand that, but at the very same time, there is just so much good shit when it comes down to KH2 that it's kind of hard to put it down, right? And I've been playing it throughout the years, growing up with it still throughout the years, and even to this point now, it's just like I'll never not really want to not play KH2. You know, that just is what it is on that front. And then also too, I forgot to add this, but the hard ass bosses in the data bosses too. Once again, it's one of those things where it's like gameplay wise, even if you don't care for story or whatever, if you have a problem with story or whatever, gameplay wise, like the damn data bosses is some of the best shit. And here's the thing too, because people be like, "Oh, I love Dark Souls. It's so good and all this junk and blah and all that type of stuff." But here's the thing: at least when it comes to KH, unlike Dark Souls feel like it's punishing you for whatever dumbass reason, or like Dark Souls games will. Because I've been playing like Demon Souls recently, and I can't get past the stupid ass knight in the beginning of the game, and I feel like deleting the whole game. I'm not gonna sit here and lie, but the difference is between something like that and Kingdom Hearts, when they do hard ass bosses, it's like, okay, there's obviously a pattern that you have to follow here. There's a lot of crazy crap that's happening, but it doesn't feel impossible. You feel kind of determined to go ahead and smash through, right? And then it also helps that the music is so damn good. Like, especially KH3, like, if you played Shion's data battle, that shit is hard. That shit's terribly hard, right? It is so damn hard and it's ridiculous, right? But at the very same time, because the music's so damn good, I can't necessarily see her just be not amped up to try to beat her ass and didn't want to spank her ass. But again, we'll say that for the other video. But still, nonetheless, it just is what it is. She be on nonsense, but that damn music is what keeping me wanting to go ahead and box her and ultimately do beating her. And that's how it is. And there's even other, like, so many different ways to go about the fights too, whether you're using summons or not, which granted I don't like using summons. I don't ever use summons. And I could be happy to say I don't use summons ever in data bosses because I think that's a cop-out. In fact, I'll even go as far as to say this. There hasn't been a single fight in Kingdom Hearts' whole entire lifetime where I had to use a summon to win a fight until Yozora came through. That is just how it was for me, because this bitch would not go down for anything. He'll steal your coins, he'll go ahead just beat your ass real quick. It's just terrible. This man gives you hell, and it's dead ass one of the greatest fights that I didn't win straight up. At least I don't feel like I earned that win because I used a summon. So one of these damn days I have to go back and whoop his ass again. But point is, it's such a good game. If you haven't tried it, please do. And if you have tried it, hopefully you'll understand what I'm talking about, right? It's just too damn good. There's really not really much for me to say that is a negative on Kingdom Hearts because it's just that good for me, right? And it will always be my #1 favorite franchise. So hopefully KH4 will just blow it out the water, and hopefully it'll be replacing KH2 in my heart. But that's really all I want to say for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell in case you're on way else. Also follow on socials and like to donate to the channel. Go find Cash App is available as well. And this is Boy J, sign off. Have a blessed day.